Hello and welcome to the Real Show podcast. I'm Murray and I'm with my co-host Corey. Say hello, Corey.
Hello.
Hello, and we're taking a dive back into the world of pro wrestling, aren't we, Corey?
We are indeed.
We are, and what are we looking at today? What are we reviewing today for all you lovely listeners?
We are talking about Money in the Bank 2021.
Yes, we are. Oh, excuse me. We've got the card up here, and we'll be going through all the 7 matches, including pre-show and a couple of other things on the show that occurred. We'll be going through them, offering our thoughts, giving a real rating to each match, and then rounding out with a nice little conclusion for everybody,
Okay,
and
sounds
including
good.
some aftermath as well. Some of the aftermath on the weeks, on the Smackdowns and Raws
Yeah.
that preceded this. So shall we start off with a couple of things. We can start off with the pre-show. We can go into that, or we can go into the cancelled match,
Uh,
the match that
let's
would have
let's,
happened.
let's go into the cancelled match.
Right. Okay. Well, do you want me to handle this?
You can
I can
handle
take
this.
care of this. Effectively, it's Hell in a Cell, the last pay-per-view. The last pay-per-view in. You know what? We'll talk about this first. We have fans back.
We do. The
We do.
crowd
There
are
was an
back.
audience. There was a presence. People were with signs. People were shouting. People were chanting. It felt like something we hadn't seen in a while. Not at least since WrestleMania. But even with WrestleMania, they had a reduced crowd, didn't they?
We did. It was good to have them back. It
This
was
was a
good.
full crowd of people. They always kept saying sold out. Michael Cole was saying sold out arena, sold out arena. Yeah, we know Michael. We can see that. You don't have to keep saying it. Um, but the cancelled match occurred because Bianca Belair, the SmackDown Women's Champion, uh, she beat Bayley at Hell in a Cell, the last pay per view that occurred in the Thunderdome. And on the following episode of SmackDown, they were
Hmm.
both involved in a mixed tag team match. I think with Cesaro and Seth Rollins, because they're feuding as well. But what happened in the following week? Bayley got on the mic and cut a scathing promo. She's like, "I want you, Bianca Belair. I want to fight you. I want to take you down and take you down for good." And then Belair came out and said, "Oh, well, let's have an I Quit match at Money in the Bank," and Bayley accepted. So an I Quit match is basically we have to take each other to the limit until one of you utters "I quit." Right? That's it, isn't it, Corey?
Yeah.
So, however, on July 9th, at the time of recording, it's a few weeks ago, WWE announced via Twitter that Bayley had suffered a legitimate injury to her ACL, her leg, while she was training, and she'd be sidelined for at least 9 months. Well, and also an announcement that she'd make a statement on SmackDown, which she did, basically, in kayfabe, blaming everybody and saying it was all our fault. when the news came out that it was actually to do with the sort of return to training scheme and the chain wrestling they were having them doing,
Hmm.
which isn't really good practice. I mean, I don't know very much about the technicals of professional wrestling, but I know that chain wrestling is sort of looked down upon as something you're not really supposed to do because it does lead to unfortunate injuries, and this is what happened. However, Sonya Deville, the official for the women, I suppose, came out that night on SmackDown and said that right, the I Quit match is off because Bayley can't compete. Obviously, she's out with an injury, so we're gonna have to do something else. So the next week on SmackDown, the first SmackDown with fans, they brought Carmella in as the substitute instead of a pay per view match. They had to cancel the pay per view match, and they had Carmella to have a championship match for the next 2 weeks, I think, in front of fans. Well, I think for the next 3 weeks because they had because they're having a match next week as well,
Okay, fair
and
enough.
they've already had 2 matches. So,
Hmm.
so I think Carmella's taken the place of Bayley in the feud. I think against Belair. So now that was very unfortunate for them, and obviously our best wishes go out to Bayley. We're big fans of Bayley on this show, aren't we?
We are.
We are. Our condolences go out to Bayley. Get well soon. Uh, do whatever you got to do. Obviously, surgery or whatnot. We hope it all goes well. And let's get on to the pre-show. Now, would you like to run us through what the pre-show was all about?
It was the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Usos recently reunited.
Yes, Jay and Jimmy Uso.
Jimmy came back from an injury.
Yep.
Come back. They've formed the Bloodline. I
Yep.
believe the name of the three of them.
Yeah, there's the bloodline. Him and Jay and Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and so they were going up for tag team belts by taking on Rey and Dominic Mysterio, who
Yeah,
won
who
the
entered
belts.
through a Thanos portal.
Yeah,
Do you remember what was that intro?
you know,
Rey and Dominic are in this sort of Mortal Kombat temple realm, right?
it's Mexico, isn't it?
And they've got this. Oh yeah, all right, sure. And they've got their suits on, and suddenly a Thanos portal opens, and they step through it, and they're in their gear with the belts, and they're coming down. I'm like, what was that? Who thought of that? That sounds
Listen.
like something someone thought of in like a dream or something.
They're
And busted
trying
to the
out.
creative room, to the creative room, and said, "Vince, have I got the idea for you?"
They're trying out all this augmented reality stuff, right? It's bound to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, sure. That felt very Thunderdome-ish.
Yeah.
For my fans arena, but yeah, we've got Ray and Dominic. They're good. I think this was this no what was this Dominic's first time in front of a crowd, or was that
No.
or was that the live SmackDown that preceded this?
Well, I think his first time in front of a crowd was before this. His first time wrestling in front of a crowd.
Yeah,
I
his
don't
first time in
know.
a match. I mean, I know he's turned up and like helped Ray against like Brock Lesnar and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? But at the Rumble,
His first match was Seth, and I don't know if crowds were around at that point.
no, I don't think they were. I think this
Right.
is his first pay-per-view when he's
Yeah.
wrestling in front of a crowd.
Yes.
And he does really well. He sort of adopted Ray's style, and he does all the high-flying moves, the 619 and stuff like that, and the splash, and the big where he jumps off the ropes and does the cool flip. He does that as well. And they're defending their SmackDown Tag Team Championships against the Usos. It was a pretty solid match for pre-show.
Yeah. Apparently, Peacock have asked that they want bigger matches on a pre-show, which is why people say this is on a pre-show.
Really?
They want bigger matches to draw people in to pay that money.
Oh, to pay that money.
Yeah, dollar.
So that dollar bill. So they're having bigger sort of championship matches. I mean, yeah, but SmackDown Tag Team Champion. I suppose it.
I mean, there's like, to be fair, out of a card, I don't really know what else could have been.
Yeah, not really. They could have had like not. Who are the tag team champions? It's Natty and Tamina, isn't it?
Yes.
The women's. They could have had the women's tag team championships or whatever. Tag teams have always sort of been relegated by WWE. They're not really big tag team people, are they?
Never
I don't
not.
think. No, but anyway, in essence, the Usos won.
We did.
He used the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll up.
Yes, it was assisted though. He
Yes.
had help.
It was an assist, and it's their 7th win. This was the big thing. Michael Cole was not saying this is their 7th tag team win. And it's I think it's their 5th time with the SmackDown ones, and their 7th overall tag team victory. So good for them. The Usos getting back their tag team gold and bringing it to the bloodline. Now all we need is Naomi to come in, right? Win the SmackDown one. And reunite with Jimmy, then the Bloodline has all the titles. We can do like Hurt Business with Naomi.
Not gonna happen.
Oh, I hope it happens.
Not gonna happen.
That's why I hoped Naomi won the briefcase. I hope if Naomi wins the briefcase, she can cash it in on Bianca, and then we've got then all the Bloodline can have like the belts, and we can do like Hurt Business.
I don't know if WWE have a knowledge that they're a couple.
They must do.
I don't know if they have.
What, you don't think they don't know who Naomi's married to?
They'll know, but like in WWE, Seth and Becky are a couple because they've mentioned it on like commentary that they're together.
But they haven't referred to it in kayfabe. Is that what you mean?
So I don't think they'll do anything with them. I don't think kayfabe has ever been an effect because obviously like mixed match challenge would make perfect sense to pair them together. Never done it.
Yeah, but I swear they've come out before. I swear the Usos have like helped Naomi before in something, or
I don't know.
I swear they've helped them before in some way. They've helped each other before in some way. I mean, we all know it. It's obvious.
Well, yeah, exactly. But it's to be in it. It's why like NXT people come up. And it's like, oh, who's this person? So yeah, we know who they are.
We know who they are. Who's Piper Niven? Oh wait, no, Doudrop.
Yeah.
Even though it's clearly Piper Niven. Right. Anyway, from NXT UK. Right. Let's go on to the matches. The match that actually started this card. Now, what's funny is everyone on Twitter. Especially the dirt sheets were saying, "Oh, the men's Money in the Bank's first. The men's Money in the Bank's coming up first." All right, okay, but no, it's the women's.
It's the women's started off.
It's the women's, and I love how quickly that rumor spread of the men's Money in the Bank starting. The men's Money in the Bank is starting. I was like, what? It's such a big match to start the card with. No, it's the women's one that's starting the card.
It was, and I mean, it was a decent match.
Yeah, I think it went on a little bit too long than it needed to go on for, but...
I mean, you had your moments, right? So
okay, well, who's in the match? Run us down. Who's in this match? Who is in? Well, actually, no,
Right.
let's not go over that first. Let's go over the fact that they feel like they need to explain what Money in the Bank is every
Yes.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know what Money in the Bank is. You know what Money in the Bank is.
Mhm.
Everybody knows. You don't need to say it. Little children who are watching this show know what Money in the Bank is. No one's watching this for the first time, Michael Cole. You don't need to. You don't need to name it. You don't need to explain us with every time, right?
Yeah.
But for those uneducated, let's take a minute to explain what Money in the Bank is. I was trying to think of a decent way to do it in like under a minute to say. So here's what I thought of, right?
Okay.
There's a briefcase top of the ring. You have to get the ladder, climb the ladder, and grab the
Yep.
briefcase, and then you win. Then you can cash in on any championship of your choosing on any brand at any time. You can do it tomorrow. You can do it in a few hours. You can do it in 5 months. Whenever. You got to cash in. You got to beat the champion. You got to cash in the case, and then you become champion, and then it's all good.
Cool.
Nice. All good. Good.
I'm sure.
Right.
people
Who's
got
in this
it.
women's ladder match?
Right, let me try and rattle it through memory first, and if I miss any, I'll look. Right, so Alexa Bliss was,
Mm-hmm.
Zelina Vega was, Nikki Cross, or Nikki ASH now.
Nikki Ash,
was.
as I like to call her.
Yeah, Ash is better than ASH.
They never. Why? It's not the DVR. It's not the FBI. Why are you calling her ASH? That isn't an initialism. That's an acronym.
Yeah.
You can just say the word Ash because that's what those letters spell. But no, they always say Nikki ASH, which sounds like it's.
Yeah. Yeah, so Alexa, Nikki, Liv
Liv.
was, Naomi, you mentioned before,
No, yeah.
Asuka was.
Oscar. Yeah. And
This
both
is not-
Natty and Tamina were there.
Yeah, I was about to say, I forgot what the Women's Tag Team Champions were doing. That's what they were doing.
That's what they were doing. They weren't actually defending their belts. They were just with them and
Yes.
in the match.
They were.
Which is an instant advantage because they could just help each other.
Yeah, I was thinking that. But then it's classic thing of who gets it. Who
gets
the
it? Yeah, I
briefcase.
thought they were going to do that. I thought they were going to do a who gets it spot where they're both up there at the same time. They're like, oh, are you going to? Oh, is it me?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But no,
It's
they
like-
didn't do that.
No, we didn't.
They were just in there to, fill up the match, I guess. But the favourite was Liv. It was obvious.
Yes.
Everyone was, because Liv had pined for it for weeks on SmackDown, going after Sonya Deville, saying, I deserve a spot, I deserve to be in that match. And you're constantly trying to screw me out of it. So when Carmella was added, Liv was feuding with Carmella at the time,
Yeah.
and she felt cheated by the fact that Carmella got the spot before she had. So when Carmella got added to the championship match, Liv came out instantly. She's like, right, you can't do this to me. How come she keeps getting all these opportunities, keeps getting all these title shots? But then Sonya was instantly like, right, well, you get your shot in the Money in the Bank now, so you're happy to get out. And Liv was very happy, and Liv was pining for it for weeks, and now she finally gets it. And she was even though she didn't win, she was the star of this match. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, right? I thought I enjoyed the match. There's only certain stuff that sticks out in the match, and that's it.
Right. What
Like-
sticks out?
Well, you got a bit of a start with Alexa, where everyone kind of fights each other, and she goes under the briefcase and puts her hand up. So, oh, what's gonna happen? And then she gets beaten up.
Yeah.
I initially thought they were gonna do like a lowering of the briefcase, and then she's gonna bring it down. I heard some people say that they thought, oh, I think she's gonna levitate, but nothing happens.
Well, she uses the Force. She tries to Alexa Bliss puts her hand up.
Yeah.
And tries to use the Force. They should have made the briefcase rattle or something. That would have been cool.
Yes.
Maybe she
but,
shake, and I was like, oh, is she gonna force it down to herself? But no, she doesn't. They just all
becoming a thing.
dogpile her, like what happened in the Royal Rumble.
It's becoming a thing now with her, but anytime she tries to use her powers, it doesn't happen. It doesn't work now.
She gets dogpiled by everybody, and then they all just take her out, which is good because obviously she's the biggest threat. She's a supernatural schoolgirl Alexa Bliss. They all just beat her up, and then they chuck a ton of ladders on her, and she's out for the rest of the match.
Pretty much, yeah.
They bury her under ladders, and leave her. And
I mean-
Pat McAfee says it's like a ladder auction out here. Everyone's selling ladders, and that made me laugh.
But no, like there was that, and there's other bits that happens. Nikki jumps from the outside from the ladder, jumps in. That's kind of cool.
Good aerial stuff. Naomi's great at that.
Exactly. A bit unfortunate that Nikki didn't get a pop when she came out. I think she got like the quietest one out of all of them.
Yeah. Well, her gimmicks kind of. We'll mention this in our sort of conclusion when we talk about what happened afterwards on Raw. But Nikki she debuted with this gimmick sort of out of nowhere, and people didn't really know what to think. And obviously Vince loved it because it's for the kids or whatever.
Yes.
And she's been this sort of peppy kind of I'm doing it for everybody who wishes they could be a superhero but they're not, and I'm a superhero and I'm Scottish kind of thing. And not that obviously being Scottish is relevant, but I'm just saying. So Nikki's being put over as this big baby face all of a sudden, and it's come fairly out of nowhere. Like we'll mention this again in our conclusion, but in the live shows, right? They've been to Pittsburgh and Louisville so far. Last week on Friday and on Saturday and Sunday, and her pop was the smallest.
Yep.
People were saying she was booed in Pittsburgh. So I honestly think that people don't know what to make of her, and if they don't know what to make of her, they're not going to like her.
No, they're not.
Because at least for two people else who are in the championship scene, which is Charlotte and Rhea, they know Charlotte and Rhea are bona fide megastars, so they're going to cheer them because they know who they are. With Nikki, who is she really? She's got a butterfly on her chest. She wears a cape and she flies around. She not even flies around. That's the whole thing. She doesn't.
Yeah.
And also, right, let me just say this. In a promo before the match, Nikki mentioned being like Black Widow, right? Does she understand that Black Widow doesn't have any superpowers?
Yeah,
is that the thing?
Yeah, well, neither does Nikki.
I know, but she's saying I want to be a superhero like Black Widow. Black Widow doesn't have any superpowers, though.
Yeah, but I think that's the point. It's like Black Widow doesn't have any superpowers, therefore she can be like her because she doesn't need superpowers.
Yeah, but I thought she was like making a comparison to a superhero with actual powers.
No, it'd be like someone going, I want to be like Batman, because Batman doesn't have powers either.
No, Batman also is rich, so you can't be like Batman.
Someone could. Trump could.
How did we get here, Corey? Right, now let's move on to the finish of the match.
Yeah.
And Nikki basically comes out of nowhere. They're all scrambling for the briefcase.
Yes.
They do that spot where they're all trying to get to it and they're all scrambling about it. I honestly don't know why one of them doesn't just grab it and onto it.
True.
Because they all do they're slap fighting for the briefcase.
Yeah.
They're all slap fighting for the briefcase. And Nikki comes out of nowhere and she's been down outside the ring. She climbs up the ladder, pushes past everybody, grabs it and wins. And the crowd, 50-50 reaction, I'd say.
I'm half and half with the finish.
Liv's devastated of quite obviously.
Yeah. I'm half and half. I'm fine with Nikki winning. My issue is...
I'm fine with Nikki winning.
My issue comes, right, in two reasons. One, when she came out and all the ladders were... all three ladders were stacked up.
Yeah.
I was expecting, okay, and I guess realistically... probably couldn't happen, but I thought she was going to like do a domino thing where she pushes one ladder, which pushes the second ladder, which pushes the third ladder.
What, it knocks everybody off?
Yeah, because then she can climb the ladder and she's on her own.
That would have been cool. I was sort of expecting that as well.
Part of me is like, one, you'd notice someone climbing the ladder, but in part of me is like, it's more of a realistic thing of she just kind of slips through the cracks and just grabs it straight away.
Yeah.
So part of me kind of likes it.
Sure.
But then part of me is like, I don't know, it felt like it was almost like too soon, but I think it's because whenever you have a Money in the Bank match, something big happens and then the person wins it.
I thought she was cashing in on the night, to be very honest with you. I think everyone else did.
We had this conversation beforehand with you, where you were like, if the women's Money in the Bank's first or happens before the Rhea Charlotte match, you're going to be worried.
Yeah, because I was saying before we started recording that even before Money in the Bank actually happened, before the day, I said if the women's match is first, then they're going to cash in on the night. But that didn't happen. But it actually happened, arguably in a better scenario than I would have hoped.
Yeah.
But we'll get onto that later. Now we have the Raw Tag Team Championships, which is AJ Styles, the phenomenal one, and Omos, who is the big man,
He is.
against the Viking Raiders, which is Eric and Ivar. Also, I bloody like the Viking Raiders. I think they're cool. They're just two big men, big beards, tattoos, helmets. They look tough. They look rough. They look strong guys. I like them.
I like them. The problem is with them is that they've just not been like their feud with the Street Profits, and I love the Street Profits as well. Wasn't great, and that's like their last feud after this.
I don't think we've seen enough of them. That's my problem.
Yeah, it's like they're versing AJ and Omos. Granted, Omos, it's a similar thing of he's big, but we don't really know what he can do.
No, but he's big.
Exactly, but it's like
you don't understand, Corey. He's big.
I can see that. I have, it's...
Yeah, but that's his whole thing, though. That's his whole thing. He's big, and that's it. Corey Graves is like, look at the side of Omos. He's huge. Yeah, and what else is he? Does he like to bake waffles on the weekends? Does he like to take long walks in the park, on the beach? Does he like to pet puppies on a Sunday? He's massive. Look at it. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I know he's big. But do you know, Corey? Do you know Omos is big?
I couldn't have guessed. I thought he was 4'11".
Yeah, no. Anyway, it was a pretty brief match, which is fair enough. It's Omos does his big man spots where he's like pushing him around, shoving him around. He's breaking up pin attempts. AJ's doing good. I think AJ's always a solid worker, isn't he?
I mean, of course he is. He always has been, to be fair.
Yeah, AJ always pulls out the bag with everything, and it's still the same here. I'm still not sure what I think of the pairing of AJ Styles and Omos, but I can rest easy on that one. I don't mind about it. I'm indifferent. So, but I like Styles as well. I do like Styles.
Yeah.
Styles gets hit by the Viking experience, which is the double team maneuver from Eric.
It is.
And he delivers that big two-handed choke slam on the Raiders.
He does.
And then he wins. They retain.
We do.
So, which is good. But this was the match that would have replaced the I Quit match, because initially this was slated to happen on Raw in 2 weeks, before the pay-per-view. But instead it got pushed forward, I think, or got pushed backward to the actual pay-per-view itself. So,
I mean, it's obviously if I had to put something. Well, to be fair, I didn't have to put something in its place, but it's nice to put something in its place. And it was fair. It was a decent match.
Should we rate these first two matches?
We can give it a shot.
Okay, I think the women's Money in the Bank match.
Yeah.
I'll give 4.5.
I was going to go around the 5.5 mark.
4.5. I'm going to give it because I wish Liv had won, and if Liv had won, maybe I would have given it a high rating.
True.
But again, I'm not unhappy with the fact that Nikki's won.
I'm just hoping it's like a Kofi thing where Liv keeps getting chances, doesn't get it, and eventually kind of gets it in the end.
Yeah. And for the Raw Tag Team Championships, I'm gonna give a 5, middle of the road. I'm indifferent. I'm indifferent. Yeah. Pre-show, do you want to try and go back and give that
a? Again, it was all right.
I'll give it a 7.
It was pretty good. I'll give it a 6.
Yeah, purely because I like Rey Mysterio.
Fairs. I'm
a big fan of Rey Mysterio. I think he's just one of those guys, one of those veterans who still keeps pulling out the bag even today.
Yeah.
It's obviously doesn't want to stop. He obviously wants to keep going. So good for him. Even though he probably could be retired with his feet up by now, no, he's still doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, now we have your man, the big man, Bobby Lashley, Bob the Builder.
Yep.
He's coming out with his manager MVP, who's looking slick as ever in his suit. It is looking cool. He's the mob boss. He's the big man. He's coming out, and they're defending the. What are they defending?
They're defending the WWE Championship, and nearly said Universal as Roman Reigns.
Okay, and who are they against?
Kofi Kingston.
Kofi Kingston of the New Day.
Yes.
Now this is actually the build for this has been spot on, perfect.
It's been
mwah, it's been chef's kiss, because every time Kofi is like, Kofi Mania's going to start again,
Yeah.
Bobby Lashley, and you better be ready, because when I take that championship off of you, I'm going to be the greatest champion ever. He lays out MVP a week on Raw when Bobby isn't there, and then the next week they have a tag match where MVP actually competes against the New Day with Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
And they win that as well. It's like, oh, things are really building up. People are like, oh, Kofi might win this. And that's what I like. I like the fact that you know it's not, you think you know what it's going to be, but it could also go the other complete opposite way.
I mean, it could. My only issue with this is, in my head, right? In my head, I had it pretty straightforward that Bobby's going to win. The only thing that would have thrown a spanner in the works is if the men's Money in the Bank went on first.
Right.
'Cause then it would have gone, okay, something else might happen here. Obviously, it didn't.
Yeah, but I think predictably, I think deep down everybody saw this coming.
I think this is, as far as the matches on the card, probably the most predictable match on there.
Bobby Lashley comes out and just wipes the floor with Kofi.
Yeah.
Just complete domination from the Dominator Bobby Lashley. He just puts him into everything, puts him down, puts him up, makes him happy, everything. It just throws him around the ring like a bag of sugar, like a sack of potatoes. And honestly, that's what I wanted to see.
It was
Sure. At the start, Kofi was fresh. And Kofi got the double stomp, and Kofi got all the flashy moves. But then Bobby Lashley just cut him off, and just boom, 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 bam, 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 and then he won. So
exactly, it was what it needed to be.
yeah,
You know, Bobby's just thrown away MVP's set. He's thrown away his couches, his sofa. He's telling MVP that he needs to get back.
He said the word bullshit
Exactly.
on Raw.
He's told MVP he needs to get back to being what he was before. So he had to then go and beat the crap out of Kofi to prove that point.
Yeah, he threw away all the finery and said, "I don't care about no pimps and grottos and girls anymore. I'm going back to being the Beast. I'm going back to being the Destroyer." And he did. He destroyed Kofi Kingston, got him in the Hurt Lock, and then took him down, took him out.
Yeah.
And up until now, the pay-per-view had been quite slow.
Yes.
Like, there hadn't been much crowd reaction, I don't say. There hadn't been much excitement going on. Oh, Nikki won. Oh, yeah, the title retained. Oh, blah, whatever.
Yeah.
I saw more reaction in the pre-show than any of these first three matches.
True. That's a good point.
Right, to rate Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston, give it a real rating. You go first.
I mean, right, it's better than the first two matches on the card.
Yeah.
I prefer Ray and Dominic, though.
I'm gonna go. I'll give it a 6.
6.5.
Right, it didn't break my expectations.
Yeah.
But it also didn't underwhelm me.
Yeah.
Like I thought what was coming, and what was coming happened. So that's fine. Now this is the match. Are you happy with me taking this one?
Take this one.
This is the match that turned everybody around. This is the match that represented the change in the pace of the pay-per-view. This is the match that went from 0 miles an hour to 1,000 miles an hour. And this was Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's Championship. Now, I think the long-time listeners of this show, especially to our wrestling content, will realise that I'm effectively a massive fan of Rhea Ripley. I adore her.
You are.
I think she is just the future of women's wrestling in every single aspect, and probably, and I say this without any hyperbole whatsoever, one of the best women's wrestlers in the world right now. One of the best workers. She's got facial expressions, she's got body language, the way she moves around the ring and sticks her tongue out and does that thing with her nose. How she gets the crowd hyped up, and she sells really well. She sells like everything is death, and I love that. Just flips her legs up in the air and takes that massive back bump. It was a masterclass to watch. Absolutely beautiful. I love Rhea so much. But right, let's actually go over the match, right? Because it was fairly well contested.
Yes.
And it was fairly even. because the build hasn't been the best. I'll be the first to admit that the build hasn't been the best.
It's not.
They do the thing where they taunt each other on crutches one week. They do this thing where Charlotte keeps turning up from behind and attacking Rhea from behind after she keeps getting victories. Yeah. But this was the culmination of it. And the crowd went from chanting, "We want Becky," to chanting, "This is awesome."
Uh-huh.
And that's the sign of two workers, not women's wrestlers, two workers who are doing the best they possibly can and are pulling out all the stops and bringing the crowd back on side, right?
Yeah.
And yes, I don't like the outcome. We'll get to that in a minute. But the match itself was. I'd give it 10 out of 10. But I'm not, right?
Yeah.
But the match itself, the working, the counters, the actual technical ability was masterful, was beautiful. Okay. So what happened exactly? Rhea keeps trying to set up the Riptide. Charlotte Flair counters it into a huge DDT. There's a near fall. And Flair does this sort of middle rope, top rope natural selection, her sort of back flippy thing. And that's another near fall. Rhea keeps kicking out. She keeps hitting her with suplexes, like Northern Light suplex, German suplexes. Massive, huge hits. Charlotte sort of sandbags Rhea's vertical. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. I don't know whether Charlotte couldn't get herself up all the way or whether she just decided to completely potato it. But Rhea legitimately got her up. She got her up. I was like, my God, you're fucking strong, aren't you? But she got her up absolutely, and I was like, my God, what a woman. Anyway, they're fighting on the outside, and I'm trying to quickly run this up now. They're fighting on the outside, and Charlotte Flair bashes Rhea's head into the post, and then sticks her leg between the ring steps and the side, which I don't know why taking the top off the announce table at Hell in a Cell is a disqualification, and yet Charlotte putting Rhea's leg into the steps and then repeatedly kicking it is not a disqualification.
Don't question it. Don't.
I'm questioning it. I am questioning it. This is me officially questioning it. Why is that not disqualification? When Rhea taking the top off the announce table was disqualification last time. It's rigged, I tell you, rigged. Yeah, that's me saying professional wrestling is rigged.
Yep.
But she does that, keeps kicking it in. Rhea's selling it like an absolute beauty.
Yeah.
She's just a pain on her face. She's screaming. I honestly sometimes I can't tell whether she's hurt or not, and that's a mark of great selling. It's a mark of great selling is when you're convinced that they are injured, or you're convinced like, oh my God, that looked so devastating. That's what is a mark of great selling. And selling is a real lost art. Some people cannot sell, but Rhea definitely can. And she's 24 years old. Imagine what she's going to be like when she's 30. When she's 25, I'm in awe. I'm in shock and awe. But right, okay, she hits her leg on the steps and throws her back in the ring, and Rhea's all crying over her leg, and they're like, oh, they must have broke her ankle or whatever. And then it's like WrestleMania 36 all over again, effectively.
Yeah.
She puts her in the figure eight, and she's selling it beautifully. I know she lost. Yes, she did. She had to submit, but that's water under the bridge at this point. I've gotten past the point of being mad, and now I'm just kind of accepting that they're going to try and force Charlotte into this 70 in breaking Rick's record.
Yeah.
Even though they keep saying that she's an 11 or 13-time champion, when really she's a 14-time champion. Because they keep saying, oh, she's 11-time, but no, she's not. She won NXT twice, and she also won the tag belts.
Yeah,
but for some reason, Vince doesn't recognise NXT or tag team wrestling.
NXT is a different brand.
No, it's not. Because of the 2 years Survivor Series.
It is if you're WWE.
Ugh.
But
it is when it's convenient.
But don't know who you are if you come up. Karrion Kross
is what they mean. They mean it when it's convenient. It means something to them when it's convenient to mean something to them.
Karrion Kross is NXT champion. That never gets mentioned. He's still champion. He comes out with a belt and we don't mention it.
But regardless, we have Rhea gives it up. and she's selling really well. And Charlotte gets the belt, and it's all, oh, I'm the champion, I'm the 13-time champion, da 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 da. But to be honest, Charlotte wasn't who I was watching in this match. Yeah, sure, the crowd was. They had those shots of that little kid crying or whatever because Charlotte got a near fall. I was laughing. I was like, yeah, suck shit, kid. Because I did believe that what I thought was going to happen was Rhea was going to win.
Yeah.
And then Nikki was going to come out and Money in the Banker, which didn't happen. So Nikki ended up actually Money in the Banking Charlotte the week after.
Well, not even that. Like 2 days later.
No, a day later.
Oh yeah, it's Sunday, isn't it? Yes.
It was Sunday, yeah, and it happened on Monday. Because what they're going to do is to get Charlotte these rates, they're going to give her loads of 1-day reigns, is what I imagine.
Probably.
They're just going to give Charlotte loads of like 26-hour reigns, and then just have someone else win it.
I mean, Nikki has to lose it to someone.
What, Charlotte gets it back and then has another day and then like loses it to Rhea or something?
Yeah.
Just so they can force it effectively. They're going to do it via forcing it. With all these meaningless 1-day reigns that don't matter. You might as well not count it, you know. But yeah, sure, I'm frustrated that Rhea lost. Of course I am. But I'm willing to accept that it was a damn good match. And they both fought with their heart and their soul. And a piece of metal isn't going to determine whether I love someone or not. You know? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A piece of metal isn't going to determine whether I like somebody or not. So I don't mind. I don't care. Rhea's still my favourite wrestler. So it affects me little whether she's winning championships or losing them. So anyway, what would you rate this? I'll let you go first because my rating will be high. I'll tell you, probably the highest on the card.
I would give it. What's my highest so far has been a 6.5.
My highest been a 7.
I think my highest was a 6.5. Or do I get 7? I'll go 7.
I'm gonna go 9.
Okay.
It would have gotten 10, but Rhea lost, and that's the only reason why. If she would have retained, then I would have got 10, but I don't. Again, I don't. It doesn't matter. No matter what, I'm still very proud of her. And belt or not, she fought with all heart and soul, and that's what makes her a great champion to me. Because you know, as I said, a piece of metal isn't going to decide whether I like somebody or not. You know, since 2017 NXT UK, so she's been with me, and you'll get no argument from me on that. To be honest, I think I'm much more character focused than title focused. You know, can a title make somebody? Absolutely, but with people, I do put Rhea in this category. The belt doesn't even come close to defining her and who she is. So, she's a very rare talent since she first joined NXT UK. So, I'm still sticking with her, and I think she did badass as always. So, right now moving on to the men's Money in the Bank. I've talked for a while, so I'll let you run down this one.
Right. Okay. So I'll go again. I'm trying to remember everyone who's in it. So you
got, okay, well, I've got the list.
Right, you got Drew.
Yes, Drew's there.
Got Riddle. You've got Big E.
Yep.
You've got... Who else is in it? Shinsuke.
Yep.
Because Buchenhagen is with him.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Owens is in it.
Yep.
Is there 7 or 8?
2 more. 2 more people.
2 more.
No, 3 more, sorry.
What happened in the match? Trying to think who's like a main. Because I know Drew's in it because he's was feuding with Bobby. And trying to think who's having like feuds for the belt. Cause my problem with this match is there's like 2 people who could have won it, and that's it.
Right. Do you want me to name somebody for you?
Who are the others?
John Morrison's there.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Seth Rollins is there.
Yeah, I forgot about Seth as well.
And Ricochet's there.
Yeah, okay, yeah. To be fair, Seth and John, fair enough. I completely forgot Ricochet was in it because he's been doing nothing.
Okay. Well, he's been feuding with John Morrison and Miz on Raw.
That's not much, is it?
Oh, well, sure. Right, okay, I'll let you run down the match then. What have we got?
I mean, first off, right, one of the things I remember, which I should have got John Morrison and Seth Rollins for this. we've talked about this before. There was a brief interaction where they acknowledged the fact that both of them like drip, and they both used the word drip, and they shouted at each other, saying that Seth Rollins is the king of drip, and that John Morrison is in fact the king of drip, and I found that quite funny because they both for some reason
because that was sort of our headcanon, wasn't it? That they'd have a drip match.
Yes, Battle of a Drip.
And they actually did that. They actually did a slight Battle of the Drip here.
For some reason, they both decided to use the word.
Yeah, they did. So they had a drip battle, which was good, which was cool.
It was, because then it was, I think Riddle jumps out, hits Morrison, and then Ricochet jumps out and hits Seth, or it's the other way around. It's one of the two. To be fair, pretty good match. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But my main issue with this card, not the card, sorry, the match, is that literally, like I said, there's only like a possibility of 2 people who could win it, and then that's really it.
Alright, who are those 2? Do you think those 2 people were?
If I had to go down the list, right, obviously Ricochet is probably not. Morrison won't, because Miz had it last year. Kevin Owens probably won't, because he'll go for Roman if he does, and we've kind of already had that anyway. It was either Drew, because Drew could technically then go face Bobby again, but
that's an out of his, you can't challenge for the championship anymore clause.
But I don't think many people would have wanted that.
No, well, actually, because the people's champion Jinder Mahal came out midway through, when McIntyre was about to.
True.
McIntyre was about to grab the briefcase. Jinder Mahal, the former WWE champion Jinder Mahal, came out, laid him out with a steel chair, but then got his 2 henchmen, got his 2 goons to carry him out.
Yeah, I mean,
so that was actually pretty cool to say, because everyone was like, oh, if McIntyre wins, he's just gonna go and it's just a way out. Everyone's just gonna, they only brought in that you can't compete for the championship anymore thing just so he could win Money in the Bank and But no, that was actually quite a smart play on their part.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's going to be setting up a match at SummerSlam or something, isn't it? That's what everyone wants, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ginger Drew SummerSlam.
Yeah.
It's what everyone wants, but no, it's either Drew or Big E who want it.
Punjabi prison match.
Exactly.
Anyway, McIntyre's carried off by Jinder's goons, and continuing their sort of rivalry that's begun on Raw, and now we have Ricochet and Riddle. They're fighting each other on top, and Owens is there. They do like a RKO kind of stunner combination.
They do.
Take him out, and Owens is coming up the ladder, but then Rollins pulls him off, and he does like a powerbomb through the ladder, and that was a cool spot. I always like they do a cool ladder spot. But then that gave the chance for Big E to come back. Big E gets in there, just a big ending on Rollins, takes him off the ladder, gets up there and gets the briefcase.
Yes, and part of me, even though I preferred the men's Money in the Bank match,
yeah, I do as well.
Part of me really wishes this went on before the
do you really?
One. Because right, Nikki winning, right? When Nikki won, I thought, okay, she's not going to cash in the same day. I thought, to be fair, they were going to have it be for a while when it was Nikki, not literally the day after.
Yeah.
But if Big E won straight away, everyone's going to go, oh, Kofi's facing Lashley. Is he going to get... Obviously, he didn't get involved and he wouldn't anyway, but it just puts something else in your head that could happen, and it would have added a little bit more interest. Saying that, good way to, nice happy ending of the person everyone wanted to get the briefcase has the briefcase and is now...
Yeah, that way, Big E could avenge the New Day by going after Lashley.
And hopefully, which he should do, win the belt.
Yeah,
leaving Xavier Woods the only one to not be a champion.
No, not be WWE champion, no.
Currently. Maybe he turns heel. He won't, but...
No. But, yeah, I thought it was a solid match. Everyone in that match is a good worker in some way or shape or form.
Yeah.
And Big E definitely the one that deserved it. I think there was even a "You Deserve It" chant.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I think there was when I rewatched it. I think there was a "You Deserve It" chant. So then we have then we bring on to our main event, right?
Yeah.
And you did such a good job of recapping the main event of WrestleMania 37 that I'll let you recap this main event.
Okay. So Edge and Roman are back.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, to be fair, Edge had been gone for a while. Edge comes back. It's Edge, whack him high up the card. He's facing Roman again, helping out Dominic and Ray, backing him up. When SmackDown came back, fans, Edge was helping him out. Cool. Everyone was a bit of Edge, right? And again, first off, Roman Reigns, similar thing. He's got the bloodline. They've all got the belts. Cool. Roman's like, yes, he knows what he's doing. He's in charge. He's in charge. But he mentions before that there's one time he's been scared of Edge, and that's when Edge had the pipe in between his mouth.
Yeah, when Edge was doing his submission on him,
which is very close to Sheamus' submission, but I'm just going to ignore that.
All right, okay. Well, Roman is like the tribal chief.
Yeah.
And Edge was saying, "I've made you scared, tribal chief. You're scared of me because you know that I've got the capacity to win this belt," or something like that.
Yeah. And it's like, so that's it. Edge is like, oh, he's got in his head. He's got in his head.
Mm.
He's back to how he was before he left the company, and this is it. So that's, and then to be fair, out of kayfabe with this match, I think most people, similar with Bobby, knew Roman was going to win.
Yeah.
There is always that small chance, because it's like, oh, well, the crowds are back. Maybe Edge will win and be a massive pop. But, again, considering that Edge hasn't had many matches back, and before that wasn't in the ring for however many years, it was pretty good match.
Yeah.
Fairly good match.
Very good.
I mean, I liked it.
Very good match. Yeah. So we have so if I can sort of run through the match for a second.
Yep.
With a lot of there was a bit of interference. The Usos come out
They do.
and try to interfere, but they're stopped by Rey and Dominic Mysterio coming back.
But yeah, like straight away.
And then Seth Rollins comes back.
Yeah, because
he's mad at Edge.
Well, yeah, because Seth thinks he's next in line. He wants the championship match.
Yeah.
And Seth thinks it should be him, and he didn't get it, so he's just gonna kick Edge in the head.
Yeah, he comes out and gets the curb stomp. Not the curb stomp, gets the super kick or whatever.
I think it's technically called. I could be wrong. I believe in the WWE games, it's called like for Alakazam or something.
Whatever.
It's got some weird name. I swear.
They do that sort of spear each other spot.
Yes, they do.
Which is awesome. I love that at WrestleMania 37. I love it here. Yeah. And then there's like a slight distraction because Rollins comes back in the ring and like Edge knocks him off the apron. Edge turns around, boom, into another devastating spear by the tribal chief head of the table, and he gets the cover and then he wins. Yeah. Wins against Edge, and there was a decent pop. There was a decent cheer for Roman Reigns.
I mean, I think like during the Thunderdome, obviously WWE could pipe in whatever crowd they wanted. They could cheer for whoever they wanted. They could boo for whoever they wanted. I did a Thunderdome event, and they told you, like, we want you to cheer or we want you to boo, whatever's happening. And I feel like now they're not piping in crowd noise, it's sometimes different from what they expected. Like, Roman was getting cheered, and he came out and he was getting cheered, because everyone loves the tribal chief.
Everyone does love the tribal chief, and we love the tribal chief.
Exactly.
We acknowledge the tribal chief. Else he'll bust through this door, and he'll give me a spear. But let's talk about the post-match, shall we? So Roman gets on the mic, and he's cutting a promo. Paul Heyman is there.
He is.
He's holding the belt, and he's like, oh wait, no, it's Reigns holding the belt. Someone's holding the belt, but Paul Heyman is there, and he's special counsel for Roman Reigns. And Roman's like, he does the voice. Let me do it. He goes, acknowledge me, I'm Roman Reigns. I'm the tribal chief. Acknowledge me. in the mic,
You're
right?
going into Batman territory when you do that.
Acknowledge me. I don't have the voice for it at the minute. But then the music starts. You know, duh, 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 and the crowd roars, and then you get the do 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 do, do 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 do, and I'm doing the hand. You can't see it.
No, I can't.
Because you
I
can't see him.
Right.
You can't see him. Michael Cole loses his voice.
He does.
He goes, oh my god, Cena, John Cena's here, right? And then Pat McAfee goes, where? Because you can't see him.
No, he's not there. Mate.
That's right. John Cena's back. Since WrestleMania 36 in early 2020.
Yes.
It's been a year. He's gone away. He's made Suicide Squad. He's made Fast and Furious 9.
He has.
He's back in wrestling. He comes out. The crowd gives a monster pop. The biggest pop I've ever heard for some time. For at least probably for a year.
Oh, yeah.
The biggest pop I've heard for a year.
Fair,
Cena
right.
comes out. He's wearing the gear. He does the point to the camera.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, he's doing the hand. He's doing the hand dance. He's doing it over and over again.
Yeah.
And he throws his t-shirt out to the crowd. He does the signal to the camera like, let's run down to the ring. He does the run down to the ring. He slides in. Big hand from the crowd. Everybody's loving it. He goes up to Roman Reigns and he's like, oh, he's doing the dance in front of him. And Roman's got this face. He's got this facial expression where he's like, what's going on? Okay.
Yeah.
It was perfect. That moment was.
It was.
Wow, that moment was 10 out of 10 because the music dimmed, the crowd rose up, and Roman did that slow turn over his shoulder, and Paul Heyman just looked shocked. He's got that shocked face on him, that meme shock face.
The best part of the whole thing is that literally Cena says nothing. It just goes.
Yes, he doesn't say a thing. He doesn't need to say anything.
Just fades off. That's it. We're off the air. Gone.
Yeah.
Done.
He doesn't need to say anything. He comes out, he's just John Cena,
Yeah.
and that's all he has to be.
Yeah, which is at time of recording essentially confirmed. I don't know if it's officially been confirmed, but it is essentially going to be a SummerSlam match. I don't think it's confirmed yet.
Well, okay. Well, let's get into... First off, let's rate that match, then we'll talk about some of what happened on the next weeks after Money in the Bank.
I'm going to give that match a 8 out of 10.
Wow, I thought that'd at least be a 9.
I was going to go 7.5, but putting it 8 out of 10.
Come on, Cena comes back. You got to give it an 8.
Okay,
come on,
if
8.5.
we're including Cena coming back,
yes.
then I'll go 9 out of 10.
No, okay, cool. I'll take that.
I'll
I'll give it.
Yeah, if you're just taking the match, it's an 8 out of 10. But if we're including Cena, 9 out of 10.
Right, I'll give it a 9 as well.
Okay.
I'll give it a firm 9 as well. Okay.
That's fine.
So, but now let's talk about what happened in the weeks preceding, right? Because I know you don't watch weekly. You don't watch weekly.
I don't watch weekly. I try and keep up with it, but I don't watch it.
Okay, I do watch weekly, so I will. I subject myself to it.
Yeah, I
For the
don't.
good of Twitter. But
I get a nice night's sleep.
yeah, don't gloat, Corey. Don't boast. Not all of us can have that luxury. Some of us must be committed to weekly hours of wrestling. I'm not even joking. It's Raw on Monday, NXT on Tuesday, AEW Dynamite on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Nothing on Thursday actually. I could watch Impact, but I don't. And then SmackDown on Friday, and that's it.
Yeah.
My entire week is taken up by daily fixes of pro wrestling. I eat, sleep, shit, and breathe pro wrestling, mate. You know, like you wouldn't believe. So, let's talk about what happened on the weeks after.
Yeah.
Following the victory over Kofi Kingston, Bobby Lashley holds an open challenge, and we get a Keith Lee return.
We do.
So I'm a big fan of Keith Lee. We like Keith Lee. Do you like Keith Lee? You better.
I do like Keith Lee. He's been away for a bit, but you know.
He has. He's taken his time away, and now he's finally back. He's on Raw again. He's been out. I think he's been out with an injury or something like that since February.
Yeah, something along those lines. I think so.
Or he's taking some time for himself. Whatever. I'm glad he's back. But he loses the open challenge.
He does.
But I'm glad that Keith Lee. It's a return for Keith Lee, so that's better than him. That's better than him losing, I think.
Yes.
And then we get the big meaty man of all, the meatiest man, Bill Goldberg.
Goldberg's here.
Goldberg's back again. Because every time they need a big man to fight another big man, who do they wheel out? Goldberg.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I've heard that he has it in his contract, but he has to do 2 matches a year. So.
Oh well, he's already done one.
Yeah.
So here comes Goldberg
So this could be it.
coming out.
This could be him done for the year.
Yeah, him done for the year. He can take the rest of the year off.
Next WrestleMania.
Bill. So Bill gets in the ring, and Bill is like, "I'm going to take you down, Lashley."
Yeah.
And Lashley goes, "No," because the next week he said no.
Yes.
But we know we're going to get it anyway.
We are.
Because Goldberg's going to, I don't know, attack Bobby Lashley or attack MVP or someone, and Lashley's going to be too mad to refuse again.
Probably MVP.
Yeah, everyone's beating up on MVP. Stop the MVP abuse.
MVP's injured. He can't do anything. He can't defend himself.
I know he can't. Kofi Kingston's attacking him. Everybody's attacking him. Right now on the Raw, on the Raw the following week, the Monday after, Charlotte holds this Queen coronation thing, and boring. Rhea comes out. The Golden Goddess, the Amazon herself. Rhea comes out, and she challenges her to a rematch, which is granted by Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. Also, Adam Pearce has sort of got a new catchphrase now. He starts saying like, "This is official."
Nice.
Or "I've made it official," or whatever. That's his catchphrase.
Fair enough.
He started it on Twitter, but he started like saying it in real life now.
That's going to be.
So good for him.
That's going to be a T-shirt.
Yeah, make it official. Adam Pearce. Yeah, that's a T-shirt. So put that on a T-shirt. We have Flair versus Rhea Ripley. The rematch is for that night for main event. Okay.
Yeah.
Of that night on Raw. Mm-hmm. And I'll just run it down quickly. Very solid match again. Wonderful match. These two are beautiful workers, as I've said. Really stellar match. Goes on for quite a while, but every second of it is just, it's absolute chef's kiss. I've done that like 3 times now.
You have.
So we have. It's the finish that people want, right? It's the finish. It's a very solid match. Both are great technical workers. They sort of repeat some of the same spots from Money in the Bank, but like twist it slightly. And then afterwards, we get Flair like running away with the belt. She tries to get herself counted out, but then Rhea chases after her. Charlotte turns around and wham, slams Rhea with the belt. Rhea goes down, and then Rhea wins the match by DQ, but Charlotte retains.
Yeah.
And then Rhea absolutely snaps. She murders Charlotte Flair outside the ring, runs her into the barricade, runs her into the post again, hits her with the riptide on the outside, completely demolishes her, chucks her back in the ring. Who turns up but Nikki Ash, Nikki ASH on the night after Money in the Bank. She bolts down. Rhea's just there, kind of smiling to herself, knowing she's fucked over Charlotte, knowing she's screwed Charlotte big time. Nikki climbs to the top of the. Cashes in a contract and climbs to the top of the turnbuckle. She waits for Charlotte to stand up. When she does, hits her with a crossbody and wins.
Yes.
And the week after, Nikki versus Rhea versus Charlotte is set for SummerSlam.
Yeah, that's going to be a thing.
It will be a thing. I'm pretty much expecting Becky to make it a 4-way at this point.
The thing is,
are you?
If Becky makes it a 4-way, then Becky's winning. Probably.
Yeah.
Unless like Becky doesn't win because of like Charlotte or something, and then they kind of do their own thing for a bit again, possibly. Or it's that, or it's a triple threat, and then Charlotte and Rhea kind of fight each other, and then at some point Nikki gets a win in because they're too focused on it. I don't know. But and it's gonna be all right, I guess.
But we have a new Raw Women's Champion, and that's Nikki ASH.
It is.
As I mentioned before we started recording. Wait, no, or did I mention when we were recording?
Yeah, you did. We mentioned it when we were on the Women's Main Event ladder match.
Yes, the live shows is starting to prove that Nikki ASH is not as over as first agreed by the.
No, and the problem is it's live shows, right? They're house shows. That's where the crowd is normally more energetic because the wrestlers can do essentially whatever they want.
Yeah, they're more like they have more freedom.
Exactly.
So yeah, and people aren't really that hot on Nikki, which is something that I've picked up on.
No, And it's because of the gimmick. If she was like Nikki, as in like what she was before with the whole Alexa Bliss thing or Sanity.
I have a quote here. Can I give you a quote?
Give us a quote.
This is from the Wrestling Observer.
Okay.
Can I give you a quote? Yep. The notable thing, both nights, worse in Pittsburgh than Louisville, but it was there both nights, is that Nikki Cross' superhero gimmick that everybody loves and everything, it's not working for the house show crowd. Full stop.
Yep.
They don't take her seriously. She was actually booed in Pittsburgh. Not heavily booed, but booed. Louisville, I didn't hear her being booed, but I heard she came out and got a nice reaction, but then once the match started, people didn't want to see her. Full stop. They just see, and to no surprise, they see Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair as big stars, and Nikki is an intruder in the match. Full stop. And also, since she's the champion, she ends up winning. She has to win. Full stop. But that was the one notable thing from everyone I heard both nights, was that Nikki Cross thing is not working. You wouldn't know that from TV, so there's that. Full stop.
Do you know what? Yeah, I mean, there's two issues. It's one, it's the gimmick change. It's too quick. She's got the belt. It's also there's like she can wrestle, but there's nothing to like. There's no like catchphrase. There's like nothing. There's
nothing at all. Right, when you think Charlotte Flair, right, you're thinking woo.
Yes.
You're thinking the Queen.
Yeah.
You're thinking what else does she say? I don't.
Well,
You're thinking she says like fair to Flair or whatever.
yeah, but it's like especially at a house show. Like when I've been to a house show, right? The loudest I heard a crowd at a live show was Rusev, because everyone's chanting Rusev Day.
Rusev Day, it's over. Yeah, when you think right, Rhea, you think this is my brutality.
Yes. And it's like there's nothing the crowd can do. Like Fandango, everyone does the hand thing. It's like there's
Rhea does that thing where she sticks her arms up and does like the devil horns.
Yeah.
I'm doing it now. You can't see it.
So it's like Nikki's good and she can wrestle, but there's nothing for the crowd to like.
There's nothing in the gimmick, despite the fact that she is all gimmick.
Yeah, there's nothing to like.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like okay, like the Hurricane. He was a superhero, but people could do stuff with the Hurricane. They could chant with the Hurricane. He had his own stuff.
With Nikki, there's nothing you can really do.
Yeah, Cena's like for the kid. I'm sounding really old when I say for the kids, but he's for the kids. He's got the hand thing. He's got the OK thing he does. He's got he's got stuff.
The hustle, loyalty, respect.
Yes, exactly.
Never give up.
Yes.
The Cena Nation.
Yeah, he's got catchphrases. He's got all of it. Like
she's got everything up the wazoo. Everyone has. That's the problem with Nikki Ash, as I'm going to call her for ease of convenience. Rhea and Charlotte are both megastars, but it's the issue with Nikki that there's nothing really there that I can see that's notable.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, to move on to that same night.
Yeah.
There was a slight sort of instance where, especially with the tag team match, because in Teddy Long fashion, there was a 6-man tag team match for that night.
Yes, there was.
It was the Viking Raiders and Riddle against John Morrison and AJ and Omos. And they were scheduled, and Stars and Omos were scheduled to defend the tag team championships again in the following week against the Viking Raiders, which they retained again.
Yeah.
So. And I think that's as much as what happened with the championships on Raw. For the championships on SmackDown, they're obviously Edge is very annoyed about Seth Rollins' altercation with him in the match with Roman Reigns. And there was some dispute between them, and obviously they had to resolve that in a classic fashion. There was a match. There was a bit of a brawl with Edge and Rollins, and then Rollins came out and cut a promo beforehand, saying that he hated Edge and John Cena for coming back and taking opportunities, and why does no one respect me, and I'm the Vision, and I'm the Friday Night Messiah, or whoever he is.
Yeah. And
then, of course, John Cena came out on Raw as well that night, not on the Friday but on the Monday, and said that he does want to go after Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
And take him out, but take him out and win the Universal Championship. But that week on Friday, Roman came out and said he doesn't want to face Cena.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, Cena." He had that great joke. Well, Cena's like missionary every night. It's boring.
Yeah.
He does the same thing every single time he comes out, and it's boring me. I don't want to face him. But then, it's not actually. I don't think he's actually facing Cena at SummerSlam unless something that I think is going to happen happens. Because who comes out but Finn Balor, who's returned to SmackDown for the past few weeks from NXT.
Back, yep.
Finn Balor's back, and Finn Balor comes out and faces Roman Reigns and says, "I want to challenge you," and Roman accepts. So I don't know whether Balor Reigns is happening on SummerSlam, or whether they're going to have another thing where Roman Reigns just demolishes Finn Balor, and then Cena is like, "Right, well now you've faced him, you can face me," kind of thing.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I mean, I'd like for Finn to I mean, he's come back NXT. I'd like him to get involved. I'd like him to do some stuff. He's a good wrestler. I enjoy him. Unlike, unfortunately,
I do love Finn Balor.
Unlike, unfortunately, Keith Lee, who returned, lost, then had a match with Karrion Kross for Raw, just gone, lost.
Yeah.
I'd like Finn to do some stuff. It's
Well, Finn is in a program at the minute against Sami Zayn where he keeps winning.
Yes, I've heard that last year Finn was supposed to face the Fiend again as the Demon this time. So I've heard people say that maybe because crowds are back, that might happen this SummerSlam instead.
Well, we know Bray Wyatt's got to come back.
At some point, surely.
People are saying that Bray Wyatt's going to come back and be against Cena now. Again. But I don't really see that happening.
No, I mean, some people are saying, well, how has Cena escaped from Mania, but whatever. He found his way out.
He escaped it through the power of Fast and Furious 9.
He's the same portal that Dominic and Ray did at the pre-show.
He did.
That's what he did.
He escaped from Bray Wyatt with the power of the Suicide Squad.
Yes. But I mean, it's gonna end up. I'm fairly confident it's gonna end up being Cena Roman at Mania. Mania, SummerSlam, not Mania. Yeah. And then you're gonna get Bobby Goldberg. Edge will face Seth.
Mm-hmm.
And then
we'll have a triple threat or a fatal four-way for the Raw Women's Championship. Yeah. I hope Bianca gets to do something. I mean, I know you're not the biggest fan of Bianca, but she keeps getting shafted at these.
She'll do something. She'll be at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, the poster for Money in the Bank has her on it.
Yeah.
She's the main feature of the poster. She's not even on the pay-per-view.
To be fair, I don't get why they didn't just put her and Carmella on the pay-per-view instead.
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
But hey,
I don't understand that either, but it's for smarter minds than myself.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. So, or maybe not. But I think that rounds out our Money in the Bank review.
I'd say so.
That was our little conclusion there. We hope that Peacock worked for you, our American viewers, because we know that it did not.
Yeah, well, we've got the network.
No, we still have the network, indeed.
For $9.99.
Yeah, a month. Or you can just go to the Pirate Bay and get it for free.
All that.
Because there's multiple sites that actually run it in pretty decent quality.
Or if you're American, just get a VPN.
Yeah, just get a VPN or whatever. Or again, just go down to the Pirate Bay. It's not hard to find.
Yeah.
But Peacock kept crashing, or the cock.
Yes.
Kept crashing. Black screen, no audio. So much that WWE actually had to address it on Twitter and tell people what to do to fix it.
Yeah.
So it must have been bad and that widespread. People were calling to cancel the partnership. People were saying that it's like the first time it's been offline throughout parts of the United States for quite a while.
Yeah.
There was massive amounts of online criticism, let's call it. There was just such significant technical error. I think it was during the men's Money in the Bank ladder match where it happened.
Yeah, I mean, from what I'm aware, it was delayed by a couple minutes or something from the start, and then I think it just had problems later on,
and then it kept crashing.
It's unfortunate and it's bad, especially for how I can't remember how much money the deal was for, but it was a lot.
Yeah,
but
how much money the deal was for.
At some point they'll fix it. Hopefully.
I think it was fixed by the end of the night.
Yeah.
But
to be fair,
it was a bit of a blotch.
We won't know.
Let's call it.
We won't properly know until SummerSlam because it might go wrong again at SummerSlam.
Yeah, it was a bit of a blotch. Let's call it.
Yeah.
But still, the next pay-per-view we'll be reviewing is SummerSlam.
Yes.
And we hope that goes well. We might make some more wrestling videos. I'd like to in the brief in the brief interim.
I was about to say in a brief what?
Yeah, in the brief interim between pay-per-views, I'd like to make some more wrestling content for everybody if it's enjoyed.
True.
So you can let us know.
Yeah, comment.
We hope you enjoyed.
Give us a comment.
Yeah, give us a comment, give us a like, give us a follow if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on any other sort of podcast listening website, then do whatever you do. Leave us a review.
Yeah, review us. You can follow us on there as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. On Amazon, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, or wherever you're listening. Thank you very much. I've been Murray. You've been Corey.
I have.
And it's a goodbye from me. Goodbye. And a goodbye from Corey.
Goodbye.